Welcome back to Quilts Bloom at Dawn. Hope you all had a wonderful 4th of July. I know that I did. I had family visiting. We had a great time, and I was able to finish two of the two projects that we've been working on, the grand finale and the American flags that we were working on, both Layla Boutique quilt patterns. I was able to get those finished, and I plan to show those before the video ends today. Normally, I would have the next project ready to go, and I'd be showing that to you. And I do have the project that I'd like to start next, but I'm gonna share that with you a little bit later. I thought we'd start off with organization. As you begin collecting fabric, and like I said, you see just a sampling of what I have, it adds up really fast. Before you know it, you are inundated with fabric of every shape and size. And that's where I sit now. And I hope to someday, very soon, have a sewing room, a dedicated sewing room, but I'm not there yet. So I've got to find a way to make the space that I have available work with all my quilty things. And as much as I love quilting, there's one other thing I love just about as much, and that's getting organized. I love organizing things. It's just fun for me. So I thought I would share. Again, there's probably 100 different ways to organize our things, and I don't know that there's one right way. Everybody does what works for them. I thought I would share what works for me, and most of these ideas I found just by scrolling and seeing pictures or videos that I've watched, so I've learned from many of you guys. But I thought I would share a few of the ideas that I've come up with for storing my things with the intent of I want everything to be easily accessible and set up where it's ready to use. If it's packed away and I can't see it, I'm not likely going to use it. I forget about it. So it needs to be something that's accessible, visible, and really ready to go. When I first got into quilting, I began collecting more pre-cuts than anything else. So I have a number of them. And what I have for you on display here is how I store my charm packs, which are the 5-inch squares. It doesn't have to be this bin. It can be anything. It could even be a shoebox. But you find something that works for you on your budget, a way that you can display and store your things. But I found this little bin. I think I probably got this one at TJ Maxx. That's my store. And so it was a perfect size to hold all of my charm packs. It also holds all my Jolly Bars. Because again, these are 5 inches across, they're 5 by 10s. So it was perfect as I began to collect these. This is all the charm packs I have, what I have in this little bin right here, and that's it. So it's not many. So I don't tend to buy as many charm packs now, mainly because I feel more limited. So unless there's a specific project and I knew that's what I was going to do with it, I'm less likely to get a charm pack. The Jolly Bars, however, I love Jolly Bars. And if you don't know what a Jolly Bar is, it's exclusive to Fat Quarter Shop. And it's essentially double a charm pack or half of a layer cake. Here's one of those layer cakes, so you can see it's half. So it's basically a 5 by 10. So I love Jolly Bars, but I love the fact that the Jolly Bars include the pattern on they always include that pattern. So I have a few Jolly Bars that I'm looking forward to use, and I do typically make these as quick as I can. I try to make these. So this one little plastic bin is great to store both my charm packs and my Jolly Bars. So layer cake is the other pre-cut that I definitely have collected a fair amount of these. I tend to not buy these as often now, but I have, like I said, already a fair amount of them that I've collected over some time, and I plan to use each of these. I'm excited about them. But these little fabric bins, they have the handles. These are absolutely perfect for the layer cakes. I bought these on Amazon. Once I knew it would hold the layer cakes, I was pretty excited about these. I think they came like 3 in a pack or something, these fabric bins. So these are great. I can again, all of my quilting supplies, everything is kept in a closet. And so I can either just look at it in there, or I can just grab it and pull it out and look at it. It is heavy though. Okay, so we've talked about our pre-cuts, the charm packs, the jolly bars, the layer cakes. I did not bring any jelly rolls out, but I just thought I would mention my jelly rolls are in a same one of these fabric bins, just like this. And I just kind of stack them in here. The other thing I wanted to mention while we're talking about layer cakes are these boards that I got from Missouri Star. I absolutely love these boards. They're called the Missouri Star Layer Cake Folio is what it's called. And what I love about these boards, what do you do with your layer cake squares once you've completed a project? You always end up with leftovers, right? So I wanted a way to display those. I tried just putting them in a box, but then all the colors are mixed. You can't really see what you have. So I love these little folios. I think it comes either 4 or 6 of these boards in a pack. And all this is, it's a piece of elastic around like this hard board. And so you can really stack a lot on it. And I just keep them, again, a stack of these. So this is like all my blues. I can look and see what kind of blue that I want for a project that I'm working on. If I don't need a lot, or if I just want to use up, again, what I have it right here on display. This is going to be all my tans and browns together. And I just have them done by colors. Here's all of my backgrounds, my lights that I can use. Greens. Let's see, I've got my reds. Don't have that many reds, but I have a few. Grays and blacks are going to be in here. Oranges. And this is going to be more my berry. This really is probably a background, but my berry colors, reds, pinks, anything that's going to be berries are going to be in here. So that's how I store all of my layer cakes that I've already opened. And like I said, I love these. And I'm going to link these in the description below in case you're interested. I believe they have it on sale. I got it on sale when I got it. Probably I got it for about $10. I think they have them for about $15 now. But I'll include that in the link if that's something you might be interested in. Boy, quilting things take up a lot of space, don't they? Okay, so our fat quarters. So this is really not just fat quarters. It is some fat quarters. It's some fat eighths. And it's also a lot of what I would call just my leftover fabrics. When I finish a project, it may not be, I would call it bigger than a scrap. So here's an example. This is obviously leftover from something that I did. It's bigger than a scrap, but it's certainly not enough for fabric by the yard. So that's how I categorize it. It's going to just go in my fat quarter bin. So I just fold it as best I can and add it to my fat quarter collection. And so my yardage, as it gets used up, eventually it hits the fat quarter bin. But the one that I'm using is 3 drawers, and I love it because I can, again, it's acrylic. I can pull it out and actually see what all's in it. So since I don't have a sewing room yet, it makes it really nice to just be able to pull out a drawer, and if I know I'm going to use these colors, I can just grab what I need. The way that I use my fat quarters would be if I'm finishing a project that's specific to a certain designer. And so I'm gonna be using this one later, so I wanted to show you. So this is some laundry basket quilts leftovers that I have. You can see they started out as yardage, and I've used so much of it, I'm down to this much now. So all of these were yardage. Got a few more in here. Got a little bit of this one, a little bit of this one. So it's not a lot, but This is enough to make a couple projects for sure. And I happen to know I'm getting ready to start another project. Matter of fact, that's what I'll be introducing to you guys today, is a project using some of these types of laundry basket fabrics. So I thought, let me just pull my laundry basket fat quarters to kind of show you. I usually have some Corey Yoder, some Camille Ross Kelly, laundry basket. There's about 5 designers that I tend to, Heather Briggs is another one. So there's usually about 5 designers that I tend to have some of theirs regularly. From collection to collection, a lot of times they can be intermixed. So I just keep them, if it's a certain designer that I know I love, I just keep them together and use them for the next collection as well. And I love these boxes, these little art boxes. I think I got these at Joann's when they were, again, on a really big special. But I think they have these, something similar. I've seen them on Amazon. Fat Quarter Shop has them. I think they're fairly common. I think Michael's has them. So these are fairly common and not too expensive. Okay, that brings us to yardage, and that's my favorite. I usually tend to get at least 1.25 yards to 1.5 yards of, if it's something I really like, because there's nothing worse than wanting to use something and you don't have enough. And I know if it's something I love, if I don't use it for this one project, I know I will use it up. And so, for example, like this is my Rosemary Cottage. I love this. I'm still using it. This is, again, this is some more Camille's from a previous collection. So I love the fact that you can use their fabrics interchangeably. So again, even with the yardage, if it's a designer I really like, notice all this is Camille. So I kind of just keep it together. Okay, so let's just use this one as an example. So I love to use, and this was not an original idea with me. I got it from all of you guys. So this, the comic book boards, buy these packs on Amazon. And oh my goodness, these are amazing for something so cheap that you can reuse them and just wrap your fabric. So I just take it and, you know, it's already selvage to selvage. And I just divide that in half and just fold it onto the board. And then I secure it with these little alligator clips, these little plastic alligator clips. They come hundreds in a bin. So these are great. My husband hates these because they're all over our floor now, but they work. But anyway, these are great, a great way to store it. And what I love about these is when I go to actually cut fabric, so I'm going to demonstrate this here. So if I'm going to go ahead and use this for a project, I literally just flip it like this, line it up with my mat right on a line. I'm not going to starch it. Then I would just go ahead and literally I'll trim off the end after I get it lined up and then just start cutting from here. And I love it. It's just ready to go. And that's, again, it makes it so easy to cut fabric that way. I know that some have said, well, you get a little bump, especially on strips. But again, I end up, most of this gets subcut, right? So if you're making squares, you're going to go ahead and cut, you know, what if it's 3.5 inch squares? You're going to cut your 3.5 inch strip, and then you're going to go subcut. Well, when I subcut, I'm using my square ruler to get it exact. So I've not had a problem with this giving me bumps or any kind of wonky strips. Like I said, I just always straighten them out. If I need to, I straighten them out. But that is something to watch for. So that's how I do my yardage. Look at how many this holds in one bin. It's a lot. I can put a lot in here. I can see exactly what I have. I can pull them out, try them. You see how your fabrics play together. I've cleared everything off. We're done looking at all the fabric storage and organization. and I wanted to talk a little bit about what project I'm getting ready to do next. And to introduce it, I thought I would start by showing the Bargello quilt that I had done not that long ago. This was a laundry basket quilt, so you saw the leftover fabric that I had. Well, this is what it was from. I've done a couple different projects using her fabrics, but like I said, I still had a little bit, but I had so much fun. I remember being so intimidated to make this, but it turned out it was a lot of fun. And I've been thinking about making something like this, but I didn't want to make the same thing again. So I thought I would just show this one to give you an idea of, you know, the Bargello look, and I'm sure we've all seen them. They're so, like I said, they always come out so pretty the way they, it just creates that pattern. And as intimidating as it looks, it's actually not that difficult to make. And like I said, it comes together quickly and it's pretty fun. I came across another one of her pattern, one of the laundry basket patterns is called Trip Around the Island. And if you, I'm going to link that in the description below as well, link to her pattern. There's actually a couple different versions that she has that you can get. Either one of them I think has more of the pinks and berry colors. The other one has the blues. Again, same pattern, it's just mocked up in different ways so you can kind of get an idea. It helps you to see what it would look like. So I came across that pattern, and while it's not a Bargello, some of the approaches that you take to making a Bargello are pretty similar. So I thought that would be a good one to do next. And I honestly had enough fabric in my stash because, again, I'm working on using what I have. I really had enough to easily put another quilt together. This is what I pulled from my stash to make this quilt. So this quilt calls for, I would say, 22 to 25 fabrics. She has listed 25 fabrics. However, you really can repeat. This is all my lighter colors that you're going to use throughout. And here's some varying shades of the blues. And I have anywhere from lights to darks. For example, this is not her fabric. Something I've had from a couple past projects that I've done. It's a Marcus fabric, but it blends, especially for that deeper colors that you need to get that effect. It really does blend. Here's another one. Now this was from her Lighthouse collection, so that's more of a medium color blue, but a little bit more of a blue, whereas the other is a little more turquoisey. So you kind of get some variations. But you can see you've got your darkers and then some more mediums. I may need to get at least one more dark. I'll have to look. But then I have, again, some lighter ones. But what I do is I try to kind of group these as I'm figuring out what I'm going to, which fabrics I'm going to put where. And again, I just look at what she's put together. And where she has darks, that's where I'm going to do darks. Where she has a medium, I'm going to use a medium. So I'm not using her exact fabrics, but I'm trying to basically recreate that pattern that she's created with what I have on hand. So I think I probably have enough just right here. And along with what I have in those fat quarter bundles, I'm going to see if that's enough. The pattern is written where basically you're at least 22 fabrics on hand. You don't need a lot of all of them. You just need some of them. You do need more than others. So again, once you get the pattern, which again, you can get a physical pattern or you can get the PDF version, which is what I typically do. If you'd like to make this with us, just go ahead and get a hold of that pattern. This is the next project I'm looking forward to tackling is Trip Around the Island. And like I said, you don't have to go with blues. You can go with whatever color suits you. I even thought it would be pretty to do more of one that's in nothing but neutrals. You could go in blues, taking it all the way to more of your deep navies. You could even do a variation of blues, greens into blues. So you could really have fun with this. I am tending to stick, because I had everything on hand and I'm drawn to these colors. This was natural for me. But I actually would love to make this again and maybe be a little bit more adventurous. But for the first time, I'm definitely going to just stick with what she's done here. So I'm looking forward to making this one together. It's not a hard one. I mean, like I said, it's just squares, right? But it's really already cut. It's in strips, which is even easier. So it's just really about how you cut the fabric, how you kind of put it together, but the pattern is so clear, it really lays all of that out for you. The last thing that I wanted to cover today, one project that I still have in process, and I'm excited to show you the patriotic quilts that I finished. So I actually got those basted last weekend and quilted during the week. My other patriotic project, so it's a Chelsea Stratton pattern. So I'm going to show you on the design board what I have mocked up right now. The blocks are all put together. So you can just kind of get an idea though of what it's going to look like. After that, I'm going to actually show you the ones that I did finish, the two Layla Boutique patterns. So I'll actually get those and show those to you as well. This pattern is called the All American Remix. I was just drawn to the fact that the colors, again, you have your red, white, and blue, right? It's all clearly in there. But then you pull in kind of this turquoise and this taupe color. And then we've got some pinks in here. Let's see, there's again some more of the turquoise. There's some pink, there's some kind of a pinky color. So I just love the fact that it still has that patriotic feel to it, yet she's pulled in so many different colors. So I just was really drawn to that. I said it's busier, brighter than what I normally do, but I really like this one. Okay, so I wanted to just mention the design board. I mentioned this in another video, but I wanted to just show this again. This design wall is, oh my goodness, it has really changed the way that I'm able to see the quilt as a, before it's put together, to just see it as a whole. This is such a great way to step back and really see what you're trying to create and move blocks around. It was just insulation foam board that you can buy at Lowe's or Home Depot. I bought 2 of those, trimmed them down a little bit because they were just so tall. I think it's still probably 8 feet tall, maybe it's 6 or 8 feet tall. Once I have a dedicated sewing room, I will likely make this something permanent on the wall. But I love that right now, since again, this is multi-purpose rooms that I'm using. It's super lightweight and I can just pull it out when I need it, put it away when I don't. And all I did was get that insulation board and a king size batting. That one king size batting was enough to cover both of these, and I just stapled it. So it's not pretty on the back, but I don't need it to be pretty. I just need to be able to see my blocks. And look at this, they stick so well, and it's just batting. So I have not had any problems with it coming off. So anyway, this is my All-American Remix pattern. And again, this is the one I'm still finishing up right now, which I hope to finish it hopefully this weekend. And then, like I said, start on the trip around the island. That'll be the next project that I'll be doing videos for that. Okay, this is the grand finale one, and I have to tell you, this is the one that I was so excited about making. Remember, this was the one we did together, and this whole quilt is just 2 blocks. The large fireworks block, and then the smaller one that's just made up of the small and medium sawtooth stars. So it's 4 blocks across. So you see the 2 big ones and then the 2 small ones. And then I ended up going with a red binding. I felt like you just had to go with red on this. As far as the quilting on this, I used my walking foot. My goal was to kind of create a chevron look. So I have the lines, they go a little bit, let's see, this way to a point, but it's just a very minor point, and then it begins to come back up, then it goes back down. So you can kind of see how I just followed it. So it was, again, just using my walking foot, and then of course going back up. Using the walking foot that I'd shown previously, where you just do the line. And actually I didn't even have to use the guide on this one. I used the edge of my presser foot as is my marking to know when to start the next line. So if for whatever reason your sewing machine doesn't allow you to use the guide, if you want to just do a little bit smaller line, this was probably more like 1/2 inch between, you can really create, again, pretty patterns with this. So it didn't take that long. It is definitely slower than doing just straight lines, but it came together pretty quick. I had it done in just a few hours. Okay, the last quilt that I wanted to show you today is the Miss Americana. One short to making the little flag, just showing you how fast it came together. Well, here they are. When you put all those flags together, look at this. It just came out so well, and half of it is just her Layla Boutique's beautiful Old Glory fabric. Like I said, I love it, but my guess is you have just as many beautiful red, white, and blue fabrics in your stash. So if you haven't made this one, it's not too late. It's still July. Go ahead and put it together. Like I said, I'm still working on one of my patriotic projects. As far as how I quilted, so the binding I ended up doing, again, more red. This was just some red that I had in my stash. And it's the same red that I used for the grand finale quilt. So I used the same on both. Okay, for the quilting on this, I ended up doing all free motion, and you're gonna love the name I came up with. I call this one Wonky Stars and Loops. And that's a perfect name for it. But the name like that, it was forgiving, right? It didn't have to look the same. My loops could be different sizes. My stars could be different sizes. And it's okay because it's wonky. I actually love getting to free motion on my machine. At this point, I am really enjoying the actual skill of learning how to, and I can see myself improving with each project. I feel like I'm getting more control. I do feel like it's sort of like learning how to ride a bike, learning how to drive a car. It's like your motor skills improve as you do it. So I do think I'm getting better, but I have a long way to go. But I had fun with this project. It's the same back that I did on my other. It was this was just some yardage, but look how pretty. Red, white, and blue. Well, I have really enjoyed getting to just share some of my different organization tips with you today. And I hope that you found a few things that you might find useful in how you store your fabrics. Like I said, there's no one right way. It's whatever works for you. I'm also really looking forward to our next project together, the trip around the island from Laundry Basket Quilts. Again, that pattern will be linked below in the description, and it's available for purchase from her website, Laundry Basket Quilts, and it's either in PDF version or as a physical download. I encourage you to go ahead and get that pattern if you'd like to join us. Next week's video will begin with cutting fabric. Not a difficult quilt, but each step of the process, especially the cutting, does matter because, again, it's a lot of cuts with that many fabrics that we'll be using. And like I said, it's not hard. It's just basically strip sets that we'll put together. So it's mostly just sewing some squares, making sure our points intersect. Not hard at all, but we'll definitely do each step of this process together. Well, again, thank you so much for joining us today. And until next time, happy quilting.